Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now September 26th of 2023, and given that Disney and of course Bob Iger are in a constant shakeup over exactly what's happening with their budgeting limitations, the cost containment plan, and everything happening with DEI, we already discussed that several times, and what's happening with the upcoming live action reboots and remakes, there's a lot of things happening with the up-and-coming Snow White live-action remake. Now, we know that Bob Iger is really trying to save his image, trying to save the image of Disney. He actually did lie just a couple of days ago about quieting down the noise when it comes to their agendas and everything being thrown into these films, yet at the same exact time, they are doubling down on all of this nonsense for Snow White, for everything happening with the upcoming Hercules movies, Sword in the Stone, Lilo and Stitch, and a whole lot more on top of that. And this just goes to show you how hypocritical Bob Iger really is at times, and how he really never makes any sense. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new, and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. And let's get right into what's going on with Rachel Zegler and some very revealing aspects about her firing from Disney. Now, we already talked about how she was removed from several projects by Disney. This included the Pirates of the Caribbean reboot franchise, which is going to be a multi-film franchise with the opportunity, and I say with the opportunity, of expanding onto Disney Plus with spin-off TV shows. Basically, they want to make this like the Star Wars or the Marvel, size for the Disney content. That's basically what they want to do. With Disney, you got Marvel, you got Star Wars, and then they want pirates. They want this to be a huge thing. So, moving onwards, we already know that the whole Rachel Zegler fiasco only gets worse. Now, with actress Rachel Zegler currently dealing with more Disney drama behind the scenes, one major development has to do with her firing from Disney and more truths related to this ongoing development. As it turns out, it wasn't just due to Zegler's comments about Andrew Burnap and Snow White 1937 that were not approved, that got Rachel in trouble, and eventually let go from these projects, but in a shocking turn of events, Rachel was being overly demanding with her income for the planned Snow White universe with the 2 prequel movies and a direct sequel to the 2024 film, where she wanted to double to triple the pay for the sequel movie. Disney was not in agreement with these demands by Zegler, her agent and manager, that were being discussed. Now, Zegler was reportedly being very persistent with her demanding more money for these projects, and Zegler was not understanding Disney's deal that they were putting in front of her at that. The plan by Disney was to progressively increase her income over time, film by around 20 to 25%. But this didn't hold up for Zegler. The main reasoning why Disney did not pursue a pay increase had to do with Bob Iger's cost containment plan, by paying less to those with stardom power. So guys, let me just stop here real quick before I get to the more revealing aspects about this, is that, yes, that is a thing right now, is that Bob Iger wants to pay less to those with stardom power. And what I mean by that is, if I really have to put it out there, is that they want to hire less A-listers, whether you're an actress or an actor, they want to hire less of those and more unknowns. This way they don't have to spill out as much, money or funding into these films for the talent and the performers, right? So that's another way that they are going to be cutting back on spending, which honestly just sounds like you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot there, because then you're not getting true experienced talent on board of these main roles. And look, I get it. I mean, there's a lot of talent out there that has been unnoticed. I'm fully aware about that, but this is Disney, and if you really want to ensure that your product or that your movie or show is going to sell, it might be a safe bet to get somebody that at least has done a handful of movies, beforehand, that actually got some traction, to see how they performed in the theaters or something around those lines, to see where that could go. And Zegler, I feel, was a very wrong decision. We all saw the box office failure of West Side Story. We all saw the failure of the box office for Shazam! Fury of the Gods. I just will never understand why Disney embraces those actresses that tend to be box office poison, or fall into the trap of a terrible story that's written. So anyway, let's get on to this further. Now, on top of this, these complications between the Disney higher-ups and Zegler's team are what was considered the final nail in the coffin for her additional Snow White movies and all of her other Disney films, such as the Pirates reboot, and even a handful of live-action and animated films. Additionally, Zegler also had issues, as it turns out, with the direction of Snow White sequels and prequels, and she fell into creative differences with the studio heads that wanted a general direction to go in. This created further complications. Disney's only way out was to drop her entirely in order to work with those like Jenna Ortega, who is in the progress of taking over Zegler's Disney movie roles as of right now. Zegler was reportedly paid 6 figures for Snow White, not even $1 million for the first film, similar to Daisy Ridley's entrance into Disney for Star Wars The Force Awakens, making around $100,000 to $300,000. Now again, we're still not quite sure exactly what she was paid for Snow White, but it definitely was below that $1 million mark. So for Zegler to ask for, 2 times the pay, 3 times the pay, she needs to realize that she is a entry-level actress into Disney specifically. And she's not really an A-lister at all. She's got to realize that. So she really does not have a say in the matter about all these negotiations. I think that when you have actresses that are like this, these are the type of actresses that are trying to really kind of just jump ahead way too fast, and they're trying to just get to the end of the line way too fast. The real goal for an actor or an actress is to get your name out there, is to, be a part of a major studio, which she got involved in and really kind of tainted it right there. And let's face it, these types of actresses do not understand the value of being a part of a major company, right? Of a major studio. It's about getting your name out there, becoming more familiar with the general public, with common moviegoers, and it'll all work itself out if you're a good actress. If you're not a good actress, it's not going to work out. So again, this is living proof about how Zegler acts, not just on camera, but behind the scenes with the studio heads, and how her team, her manager, her agent, and others, really tried to really jump overboard with these pay increases that were just out of touch with reality, especially with the fact that Disney was doubling down on their cost containment plan. They could not get a grasp on that idea. And, at the same exact time, that's ultimately what led to her removal from all of these projects, is that she could not deal with that. She could not deal with the, pay being at, the same or having a very slight bump of progress over the years, which I think is just ridiculous, to be honest. But the other factor that we talked about, honestly, had a lot to do with her interviews that went viral, really kind of making those comments about Andrew Burnap. Disney was not happy about that, and they were also not happy about how she really talked down about Snow White 1937. Those were not approved by Disney. Everything else, though, that she said were approved by Disney, as it turns out, in a shocking way. So anyway, guys, drop a comment below, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
From night to moon.